What up, y'all? I'm back with another review, and I'm here to review the debut studio album from BrockHampton entitled Saturation. Now, I've uh, known about this album since the day it dropped. I skimmed through it the first time, and then I haven't seen any reviews, but I haven't been getting any requests, but I have been seeing people on Twitter, a lot of music reviewers that I follow, saying they've been getting a lot of requests, like review the Brockhampton album, and like I said, you know what? It's not really something that I picked up on through the first skim, and then I eventually listened to it the week after that, and now this week I've given it second and third listens, and it's like it just came to the conclusion, might as well review it. That's why I even listened to it a second and third time in the first place, is because I was just decided on reviewing it after seeing like so many people are requesting to other reviewers, and if they're just not gonna do it, I'll go ahead and do it and just give my thoughts on it and give the people what they want. Maybe I can expand the audience of the channel a little bit, because they're not your typical hip hop group in whatever that is in 2017. So they're not your traditional hip hop group. How about that? They're not the 90s, early 2000s boom bap hip hop group. They're not late 80s and early 90s kind of funk, and not necessarily funk, but hard hitting group. But still, they are a hip hop group, experimental, alternative hip hop group. I wouldn't say industrial. I'd say they're in the same boat, kind of, as Death Grips, a little bit more towards horror though. Even though horror is kind of like Death Grips as well, I could definitely see the comparisons. I made the comparisons myself. Um, Anybody else? Clipping, maybe clipping. Even though that's Splendor and Misery, though, it was nothing like this as far as the other elements that were in that album. But let's go ahead and get right into this. 17 tracks long, like 51 minutes, I want to say. Yes, 51 minutes. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Track number one, Heat. Some real hardcore lyrics here. My goodness, the lead MC right here was talking about how I love to watch bitches bleed and shit. I was like, oh man, this dude. I wonder if he grew up listening to the horrorcore type of stuff. Brother Lynch Hung, and I get an Odd Future type of vibe on this track and on the next track as well. More kind of goblin. Track number two, Gold. Real catchy hook. It's an eerie sort of soul type of vibe on some alien shit, just on the beat. Um, Track number three though, Star. I love the sports reference. I mean, there are a lot of references on here, but the sports references really caught my ear the most, and it's very vibrant. I don't mean vibrant like it's colorful. I mean vibrant like the whole boom vibration type of stuff right here. And track number four, um, Boys. It's electronic and it's experimental noise to the core. And it fits in with the first four tracks, given the fact that if you've been watching me for a while, you know how I kind of rate songs. I'll give an X if I can just do without the track. I'll give, I'll have nothing next to the track. I'll take my pen and write nothing, which means I don't necessarily think it's filler, but there's nothing next to it, so not necessarily filler. It's just I wouldn't say I can do without it, even though it's kind of like that because I have nothing next to it. It's just more in the whole. It's not like I'm gearing towards I like this because it's like a 5-star thing rating a track. I guess I guess I could do that for if I started doing track reviews again. Like an X being I can do without. Nothing next to the track means it's just like eh. Now a circle, that means I'm like, I want to say I like this a lot and I could download it, but it's also in the realm of it's just above the rating of course, just above the rating of nothing. Like it's just there, but not necessarily filler. But you could say it is, I guess. Then there's the check mark, which means yep, I like this, really do. I'm gonna download it. And star, that means hey, it's the shit. Favorite track, one of my favorite tracks on here. But the first four tracks have circles next to them, so not a bad start at all. Track number 5 though, Tupac. I see the appeal. I see why people were requesting this album if they were specifically inspired or what made them want people to review this album. Not just the first 4 tracks and the rest of the album, because it is a good album. This track right here, I see the appeal of this track, and I see why that would make people like, hey, review this album, because at least you're gonna talk about the Tupac track, and it's deep and personal. It's just talking about missing the times of being innocent when things are simpler, and how shadows keep following you, like kind of like a paranoid looking over your back, like a whirlwind inside of your head. If you listen to Linkin Park, you get that reference though. Track number 6. Look, I'm gonna be honest. I just had my headphones in listening to this, and when the skit came on, I thought it was a commercial. It went to track number 7, Fake, and I was like, oh, the skit. I knew it was like 16 seconds, but I had no idea it actually started. I thought a commercial, an ad for Spotify just came up. Track number 7, Fake. I got a check next to this one. It's smooth groove, head bopping, riding vibe type of shit right here. It's flange. I love the flange of vocals on here. It's like auto tune underwater, water vapory. Like just imagine water evaporating and what that would sound like if it made a sound. That's what these vocals sound like. I love that. Track number 8, Bank. All I got from this was the message is niggas stay talking, which they do. So I can't say like there was nothing legitimate about this track. Like nothing was being said. No, something was being said. Track number 9, another skit, and I feel about this one the same way I feel about the first one, except I didn't think it was a commercial this time because I had already heard. But if I hadn't heard the first skit, I might have thought this was a commercial. There are 3 skits on here actually. Track number 10, Trip. I'll put a circle next to this one. It's addressing social issues kind of in the burbs, like real personal shit, like not fitting in as well, like not fitting in with your family, who's a family of athletes while you're kind of chubby, and just talking about how we're all the same. And it's talking about how this is a fantasy because today I'm going to be who I want to be today. I'm like, Now track number 11, Swim. One of my favorite tracks on here. Got a star. It's kind of on some EDM shit through 41 through a minute and 1, those 20 seconds. It really bumps. I mean, the whole thing does, but especially 41 through a minute and 1 second. It really bumps. It's about love and heartbreak. Track number 12, Bump. I didn't write anything next to this, but I did pick up on towards the end just saying when this ends, at least I'll have a reason to live. It's like, I almost wanted to give it a circle because it's like, at least something's being said here. Even though I was with the whole track, I was like, Track number 13, Cash. One of my favorite tracks on here. This, Swim, and Tupac, man. I love the guitar here. It's like a very low, the way you're hearing this, like it's like you're picking up the guitar through a radio, very low quality radio that's like becoming distorted because you're going out of range and you start hearing static. That's what the quality of the guitar coming through when you hear it sounds like. Socially conscious. It's on that the team shit, ride or die for the team, and on some get money shit, and really just saying me against the world, which kind of contradicts itself. So you just talked about how you're down for your team, but then you're talking about me against the world. I think you'd say it's us against the world, but still one of my favorite tracks regardless. Track number 14, Skit 3. It's samey kind of as the first and second one, except there was more here because it was longer. It was like 39 seconds, and the first and second were like 16. I want to say both of them were 16 seconds, but it was longer. And I got more from this, like I said, not just because it's longer, but what was being said. I felt like there was more to do. Like if this was these skits were supposed to fit with the theme of the album or stories being told, this one would do it better. Track number 15, Milk. Personal. Very personal. Just the lead guy again talking about, well, not again, but the lead guy again, he seems to be of course, the main guy because he's the lead. I'm just assuming he's the lead because he's the one that I'm picking up on the most and who I'm hearing the most, aside from the female vocal as well. Is this the dude? Is this Kevin Abstract? I believe Kevin Abstract is in BrockHampton actually. Let me see. Let me just look this up real quick. BrockHampton members. Let's see. Okay, because how many members are there anyway? Kevin Abstract. I think he is the dude. Okay, I was just wondering because I have heard that name before. And yes, they're a hip hop collective. If I forgot to mention that, a real hip hop collective, man. There are about 16 of them. Man, that's more than Odd Future, maybe. Maybe it's more than Wu Tang though, as far as official members. But yeah, but on here though, on Milk Track 15, I'm gonna assume it's Kevin Abstract is talking about personal shit like drugs and the women who know the lies that he's told and how he used to rob back in the day. And he's just talking about how he introduces himself like he's applying for this job, right? And he moved to California after coming from this place, dropping out of school, coming to California with this boy band, and like we're gonna be the next this and that. And he's just talking about not towards the end, but as the song progresses, how he has to get better at everything, especially being who he is, and not in the sense of like, oh, who he is has to get better at that. Like he doesn't know who he is. No, he knows who he is. He just needs to get better at being who he is as a person. Like who he is right now isn't good enough, so he has to get better at being who he is, not who he currently is. He's trying to grow from that, as we all are, I'd assume, or should be at least. Check number 16, Face. This is like talking about the plans for the future with your significant other and talking about your feelings for them. And it's kind of underwhelming, to be honest with you. One thing I'll get to that later. Track number 17, Waste. I left a circle next to this. I didn't put anything next to Face, unfortunately. But not the best outro for an album, especially one that had this much hype and that I enjoyed this much, and for a debut as well. But more guitar and soul though, so I really do like that. That's what saved it and made me give it the circle. So I guess you could say I'm giving it like a 3 out of 5. But if I give it a star, it's like a 5. If it's a check, it's a 4. If there's nothing, it's like a 2. If it's an X, it's not even a 1. It's a 0. It's a negative. But one thing I do have to say about this album is, especially in the first half, I felt like some shit was unnecessarily long, kind of drug out and repetitive. Especially on the hooks, that just kept going and going and going. I was like, okay, when's this gonna end? But I didn't mind the first 4 tracks though, even though some of those tracks were the ones where I was like, yeah, this is starting to. Those were the main ones where I was like, yeah, this is getting repetitive, unnecessarily long. Could have been some great tracks. I might have gave them a check if they didn't just keep dragging themselves. Overall though, I do like this album. I see the appeal. I don't think it's as good as some people are hyping it up to be. Just the people who are really asking for it from other reviewers. But I'd give it. I mean, let's just look at it. I gave it 3 stars. I gave like 2. I gave 3 or 4. Actually, I gave 6. I gave 3 stars, but 6 tracks have nothing next to them. But at the same time, 3 of those are skits, so I'm not really going to count those. So 3 stars and 3 blanks. But then there's 4 tracks with circles next to them. And there are 2 tracks with checks next to them. And the other 3, like I said, with nothing next to them are just skits. So if you're just judging by the 13 songs, like I said, 3 stars, 2 checks, 4. I'd give this album a 7 to a 7.5. But if you've heard this album, let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. What you think about my review on it. Also, be sure to hit the like button if you like this review. Share the review. Subscribe if you're new. Get me on Twitter, Facebook, AudioMac, SoundCloud, Instagram. Hit up my email for business. What I mean by hit up my email for business is if you need your music chopped and screwed, if you need it reviewed, if you need beats made, you want to be featured in one of my upcoming DJ mixtapes, or you just have any inquiries that you just might have, the email is DynamicJAB@gmail.com. And I also have my PayPal, my Bandcamp, and Patreon down there as well. And the reason I have my Patreon down there well, yeah, I know what Patreon is. But the reason I have my Bandcamp on there is because of just like Patreon, I'll put exclusive stuff on there that I don't put on SoundCloud and AudioMac. And the reason I have my PayPal is because if you want to donate to support my movements as far as YouTube, music, entertainment, etc., you can donate to DynamicJAB@gmail.com through PayPal. Any amount that you donate is very appreciated. All the money that goes into the PayPal from what I get from YouTube, music, and everything, it all goes back into those three and other uh, activities I do outside of everything else. That's like the income that I get that's not from a job or under the table work. This money and money from that stuff too. I'll just put money into the PayPal. It's strictly for putting back into this YouTube, music, entertainment, etc. So thank you for watching. Like I said, if you heard this album, let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. What you think about my review, and I'll see you later. Thank you for watching.